going to talk to you about how it's never too late to pivot or change your life. My name is Walden, and I am a spiritual coach, teacher, empath, and intuitive. Pivot is such a buzzword right now. Mostly it is talked about in business, but today we will be talking about it in our personal lives. What does it mean to pivot? According to dictionary.com, it means to modify a policy, opinion, product while retaining some continuity with its previous version. We saw that happen a lot during the pandemic with businesses and in families. People worked from home. People had to become their kids' teachers. Zoom became a staple in most homes. Sometimes we do pivot because we are being reactive to the circumstances around us. But I like the idea of pivoting as being proactive and reinventing ourselves, as it allows us to design our own lives. I talk about this as living by choice and not by default. As I was creating this talk, I decided I wanted to pivot from this pivot because I realized you can't pivot or change where you want to go until you are able to know yourself, love yourself, and become who you are meant to be. My guess is, if you are here and you're watching these courses, then you are already on a spiritual journey, which means you have seen how your life has already changed many times. Maybe it's changed, but you still aren't happy and you don't understand why. Perhaps you are still waiting for the other shoe to drop before you can really be happy. And I get it. I have been where you are. I was doing all the right things. I was doing my spiritual work, I was reading, I had spiritual teachers, I was seeing people who could help me figure out the future. What I realized was I was still looking outside of myself to make myself happy. That became very clear when I was living by myself. I realized I no longer had other people to focus on or to fix. I had to sit with myself and finally fix my own life. That is when I turned inward. Now, don't get me wrong, I still love reading books. I have my spiritual teachers, and I talk to people who can tell me what my future can be. But I do it from a new lens of, does this feel right for my soul? I believe in 3 steps. Know yourself, love yourself, be yourself, and then you can trust your intuition. You can't be yourself until you love yourself. And you can't love yourself until you know yourself. The first one I want to talk about is know yourself. The movie Runaway Bride is a great example of this. Julia Roberts' character keeps running away at the altar from every man she was engaged to. I think there were about 3. Finally, Richard Gere gets the story and he decides as a reporter he's going to come and find out more about this runaway bride. So he's going to do an article on her. As he is getting to know her, he sees a pattern of her liking whatever kind of eggs her fiancés liked. As he starts talking to her more, he finally asks her, "What kind of eggs do you like?" She couldn't answer. She didn't really know. If you have seen the movie, then you know she runs again. This last time she decides she is tired of running and finally figures out what kind of eggs she likes and finds out who she is. I love this story because this is where you can see how it is to live life by default until you know yourself. Think about the areas in your life that you've lived by default because of the choices that others have made around you. You either made a decision because your spouse suggested it, or you had to change for a job, for your kids, or what would make your parents happy. But when was the last time you figured out what kind of eggs you like? A few years ago, I realized I don't like green peppers. I like orange, yellow, and red peppers, but I don't like green. So I stopped eating them because I realized I can. I don't have to do that anymore just because it's a healthier version or because somebody told me I should eat my green peppers. When you do something, ask yourself, do I love this? Does this feed my soul? Does this light me up? Is it getting me where I want to be? Now I know that some of you are parents or you are married, and there are some have-tos in there. So I am sure I don't need to tell you to ignore your children. Just be aware of what brings you happiness too, just as you would want for your child or your spouse. Also, figure out what you value. Do you value things like bravery, creativity, loyalty, honesty? Do you value respect, generosity, fun, compassion, love, learning? When you become aware of what you value, that will be another internal compass for where you want your life to go. Open your mind to new ideas as well as revisiting old ones. Go back to childhood and remember the things you used to like to do. That can give you a clue into areas that you like. The second thing is loving yourself. I was a flight attendant in a previous life, and we would always say to our passengers, put the oxygen mask on yourself first and then on your child. There is a reason why you put that oxygen mask on yourself. You have 18 seconds on a plane to put it on. If you don't put it on, then hypoxia sets in, which means you don't get enough blood to your brain. We watched a video of a woman trying to put on her lipstick, and it was all over her face because she couldn't function. This is the same in life. Sometimes we do, and we do, and we do for others, and it depletes us. Then we have nothing to give, or we complain about what we are doing. Maybe we don't even complain out loud, but we do it internally. And if we do it internally, how is that hurting our bodies? And think about your self-talk. What do you say to yourself when you look in the mirror, or when you try on clothes, or when you see a picture of yourself? Are they words that you would ever say to a friend? Then why are you saying them to yourself? Speak the kindness to yourself that you would give to someone you love. That is a start in loving yourself. Another thing you can do is each day take 10 minutes to do something that is just for you. If you want to read a book, read a book. If you want to take a bath, take a bath. Binge watch a show. Take 10 extra minutes to drink your cup of coffee outside, listening to the birds singing. Give yourself permission to do something you love for yourself every day. We spend so much time worrying about other people and making sure they are okay, and we forget to make sure that we are okay. And be sure and understand that taking care of yourself isn't selfish, it is self-care. It is all about intention. When we are selfish, we do only for ourselves, despite how it may affect others around us. When we have self-care, we prioritize taking care of our needs so we can mentally, physically, and emotionally be available to those we care about. Now, the last thing I want to talk to you about is be yourself and trust your intuition. A part of knowing yourself is trusting your intuition. I believe this is a gift you have when you came into this world. It is your personal roadmap for life, your own GPS, or as I like to call it, your guidance provided source. This is in you. And when you start experimenting with your intuition, you may become aware of it, how it feels in your body, or you will have a knowingness of what to do next, or you might experience seeing signs that the universe is sending to you because you will be connected to your internal source. Again, in order to really tap into this, then knowing who you are and loving yourself will make this GPS work at its highest capacity. I do find it interesting that we end up having our families, friends, and even society teach us what they think our roadmap is because they are going by their roadmap. We need to learn to listen to our map and trust it. And if you have children, help your children to listen to their roadmap. And I want you to know you have all the answers inside of you. They may be blocked by old beliefs or habits, but trust me, they are there. There were so many times in my life when I didn't trust my intuition. And though the road still brought me to this point, I can see that perhaps I created more challenges and caused myself so much more angst than I needed to. I can see now as I'm living in a space of trusting my intuition, I am happier, more peaceful, able to go with the flow easier. I still have moments where I want to control things, but I realize I am learning and growing, and most importantly, trusting myself. And I also found I am no longer waiting for the other shoe to drop because I know I am divinely guided. One of the ways I practiced trusting my intuition was by not listening to it. I would feel my body telling me to go a certain way when I was driving down the road, and I would decide not to do it, and I would go a different route. And usually I ran into traffic or something, and I would kind of laugh at myself, but that was the way I would practice that intuition. I also used to, and I don't do it anymore, but I would look at my gas tank and I would say, oh, you need to get gas, even if it was a quarter full. But I knew there was something telling me to get gas right now. I wouldn't do it. And what I found out 3 days later, when I really needed gas, I didn't have time or there was no gas station around. And I always said to myself, I should have trusted that intuition because it knew. This week, I want you to practice using or not using your intuition. That is when you can practice learning when and how to trust it. I love the poem, Our Deepest Fear by Marianne Williamson, and I'm going to read it to you right now. This is what she says. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. I want to leave you with this. Get to know who you are. Love yourself exactly as you are, and turn inward as you have all the answers inside of you that are meant just for you, which means you can finally be who you came here to be. When you learn to trust your intuition, it will lead you exactly where you need to go. No matter your age, time in life, or circumstances, you can always change. You have a choice. And when your intuition tells you it is time to change or pivot, you will be all in. Give yourself permission. Imagine how different our world would be if everyone took the time to know who they really are, to love themselves, and to be who they came here to be. What a beautiful world we would live in. I'm Kathy Walden, spiritual coach, mentor, and teacher. If you would like to learn more about how to know, love, and be yourself, then contact me on Instagram at Kathy Walden Spiritual Coach or on Facebook at Kathy Walden. I look forward to hearing your stories and walking beside you as you grow into the person you came here to be. Have an amazing day.